So today I'm going to use 4 different pigments. 2 are for darker side of the lips and 2 for the lighter. So Cooler Nude number 7 and a drop of number 5. This is for darker side of the lips, and Bare from Even Flow and number 6, 50-50 for the lighter side of the lips to create a nice gradient. And I use 2 different type of needles. One is 1001 and another one is 0803, like I showed you in the video before. During work, our hands naturally move towards our chest. This is why you have to consider the significance of body positioning during work. Example, when working on the bottom right corner, sit behind your client's head, ensuring the strokes moves right across in the middle of your chest. Adjusting position with every change in stroke direction. Same principle applies for the Cupid's bow. Every time we're changing the body position. And I start with my client's left bottom corner and little scratches barely touching the skin. My needle length stick out is 2.5 millimeter, short stroke device. Just feeling the skin, super light and careful on the corner. You don't want to make solid line. All the way in on the tip of the needle, 90-degree angle. And going down, slow, tiny little scratches. It's very important on the outline not to rush. 1, 2, 3, 50% overlay. Always counting, not rushing. And pay attention to the way I stretch the skin. With my index finger away from myself, and my thumb is always towards myself. And my pinky, it's my little helper. First of all, it's a stabilizer, and it opens the corner. It pulls it down. Just wanna check. I can see the outline, but it's very light, so I will be going a tiny bit slower. I'm not using more pressure, I'm going a bit slower. The corners of the lips are the thinnest skin, so you have to be careful. Just going over. I don't want a solid line, because once you apply anesthetic, it will bring more color. All I want to hear, the needle grabbing the skin. You want to hear the little scratches. You want to feel the skin. 1, 2, 3. And this little vibration, my pinky, I have to feel the vibration of the skin. This 1, 2, 3, 50% overlay or 80% overlay. Always changing my body position, like I said before. Every time I am changing my stroke direction, I'm changing my body position. It needs to be right across my chest. Like right now, I'm working towards my chest. coming closer to the middle of the bottom lip. And let's see. That's good. That's perfect. I don't want to put any more color because again, once we apply an aesthetic, it will bring more color to the surface. And not rushing. 1, 2, 3, always in your head, always 1, 2, 3. My speed on power supply is 5.2. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Look at my stretching. Just pay attention to the way I stretch the skin. I'm not pulling the skin. My stretching is maximum 1 inch. On the corners, it's 1 centimeter. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. And middle of the lips, Cupid's bow same, we have thicker skin. So we go a bit slower. If your pigments start puddling and it makes a mess, don't continue working. You need to make your needle stick out a bit longer. If you work and you see there's no pigment coming out, you need to make your needle stick out a bit shorter. And you see the scar tissue from piercing. And again, on scar tissue, we're not using any more pressure than the rest of the lips, just because the skin is thicker. No, other way around. You use less pressure on scar tissue because it can heal. It can heal patchy if you use lots of pressure on scar tissue. And we're working on the right bottom corner. I'm sitting behind my client's head. My thumb pulls the skin towards me. And my pinky opened the corner, and look at the way I hold my index finger. Again, very careful on the corner, barely touching the skin, and connecting. Has to be all the way in. And let's check. That's perfect. That's all I need. And on the top lip, I start with a Cupid's bow. And super slow. Very slow. My scratches are 1 to 2 millimeter. I'm not even breathing when I do the Cupid's bow. I want this super crisp, thin outline. Very slow. So I want this sketch to transfer. I don't wanna make the sketch again, so I'm not rushing. I wanna make sure when I wipe the sketch off, I wanna see the outline. And I change my body position again. I am working towards my chest. It's very important. And slowly, slowly. One, two, three. Just like a dragging. But again, no pressure, just slower. You can do 80% overlay, not 50, 80% overlay. Just make sure when you wipe the sketch, you can see the outline. You don't want to lose the sketch. And see how nice and it's when you have a crisp and clean mapping, it's so easy to follow the outline. This is why I pay attention and I take my time when I do the sketch. And see where I place my thumb, right on the sketch. As long as you don't drag your thumb, you don't lose the sketch. You don't wipe the sketch. Just place it carefully, don't drag, and you never gonna wipe the sketch. Slow, very slow. And I'm not even wiping and checking if there's any pigment left, because I am confident with the way my needle grabs the skin. I can feel that I know when I wipe the sketch, I have nicely transferred the outline. And then back where I started. Right now I'm going away from myself. 1, 2, 3, and towards myself. And I want to work on my client's corner. And I place my pinky on my client tooth. It helps me to stay stable. My thumb, I pull the skin, the lip towards me, towards myself. Very careful on the corner. Just little scratches. 1, 2, 3. All the way in. And please pay attention to my index finger. It doesn't pull the skin, it actually pushes the lip down, creates a little pillow. 1, 2, 3. My client's head all the way towards my chest, so I have 90-degree. So 90-degree to the surface. And look at my stretching. One, 2, 3. And connect. Nice. Very slow. Every time moving my body position. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Very slow. And connecting. Perfect. And when I'm done, I'm applying anesthetic. I use Ultra Duration. There's 4% lidocaine. It makes the skin, it lightens the skin. It brings the color to the surface, so the outline will be looking more saturated. And I'm applying plastic wrap and let it sit for 3 to 5 minutes. And 5 minutes later, I remove the plastic and let's see. Beautiful. Nicely transferred outline. All I need, I don't like bold, very dark and bright outline. I like super nice and crisp. It's very easy to blend outline with the rest of the lip when it's nice and thin. Beautiful. And on scar tissue, perfectly transferred. Here you can see crisp and clean work. And we start filling lips below the outline, and I use same colors I used for the outline. It's Ethalon Mix number 7 and 1 drop of number 5 Cherry, just to give it more color. And slowly, like I was showing on latex, I'm going towards myself on top of my outline and slowly going lower, 1/4 million, almost staying in one spot towards myself. And now I can go pendulum and more sparse creating the gradient. All the way down and up. And when I'm coming closer to the outline, I'm slowing down and slow going on top of the outline. I don't want to ever go outside of my outline. I want a clean work. Nice. And again, very carefully. I want to feel in all the space below the outline. I don't want any gaps. Once it heals, I want to see beautiful shape, no patchy result. And I'm not moving forward till I see it's a nicely saturated area before I move to the next area. This is how I do one pass. I don't want to go over and over and over. This is the reason when you jump from area to area, your lips start to swell. And nice and crisp. And going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And again, careful on the outline. The last thing I want to do is to go on the outside of my outline. This is the second stroke I showed you on latex, is the hardest to fill the space below the outline. And create nice and clean work that doesn't need any concealer. Everything starts with nice clean sketch, then transferring the outline and staying on the outline and not to go outside of the outline is 3 very important factors. And going pendulum. So nicely saturated. Barely touching the skin. And slowly going lower, always counting in my head. And 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And fade away. And I always start with the Cupid's bow. And 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. When I hear the needle grabs the skin, those scratches, it's mean I have nice color saturation. I don't even worry about wiping the skin and not seeing the color. I know skin takes color very well. I just need to hear this sound. And if you noticed, I always wipe my skin with dry cotton. The first one is wet and second is dry. I never touch the skin when it's wet. Skin has to be always dry before you touch it with the needle. And my stretching is I make my skin nice and flat. If when I work on transferring the outline, I just place carefully my fingers. Here I'm stretching the skin. And pendulum sparse. If you won't be doing sparse pendulum strokes, it will heal as a harsh outline. This is why we need to switch to pendulum and put the strokes sparse. Closer to the outline, they're super close to each other. You have to put strokes very close to each other and going down nice and sparse to create nice gradient. This gradient we're gonna blend with lighter color. And same technique I use for traditional permanent lip makeup. The only difference is I don't go all the way to the middle of our lips to create the fade. I work only 3 to 5 millimeter below the outline, and then I'm switching to around 3 needle and I fill the space, the rest of the space, the rest of the lip. And Cupid's bow takes the most amount of time. The rest of the lips, they go faster. nicely filled in. A tiny little gap. In 90% cases, I don't ever need, my clients don't come for the following touch-up, because I take my time, I make sure it's evenly saturated, and once they're healed, there's no gaps. And nice and flat. My skin is nicely stretched. Right now I work with no anesthetic. So I applied anesthetic on her outline. And as you know, the anesthetic works only on open skin, so it all depends on your pressure. I'm light-handed, and plus short stroke machine, it works softer. If I would work with long stroke machine, yes, my client probably would ask for anesthetic now, but she doesn't ask for anesthetic, and it doesn't hurt. And of course, very important to be light-handed. So you have to train on latex all the time. I used to be very heavy-handed, and my lips were swollen immediately after. And I retrained myself, lots of practice on latex, and my lips, honestly, I don't remember when last time I had a client with very swollen lips. And my client, she does have filler, and as you know, filler attracts water, and it usually swells more than lips with no filler, but still she is so far she's good. And we're done with other side, and we're switching to my client left side, my model. One, two, three. You always can apply Vaseline. It stops from bleeding. Everyone's lips very dry in the winter time, so they often bleed, and Vaseline helps a lot. I apply Vaseline for a couple seconds, and I wipe with dry cotton, and it stops bleeding right away. My strokes are longer now because it's nice and straight, it's a bigger area. Nice. And closer to the corners, skin is thinner, so we're more careful, more less pressure, because it takes pigment very well. You don't need too much pressure. All you need to hear the sound of needle grabbing the skin, this scratch. Always 50% overlay, 50% overlay always, and you will have nice even saturation. Nice. Again, a tiny bit of Vaseline. And dry cotton. And on the tip of the needle, barely touching the skin. And I turned my model head all the way towards my chest, so I have 90 degree angle to the surface.
Yeah, I see it.
And just pay attention the way I stretch my skin. And I apply anesthetic. Anesthetic will bring more color. And same we're doing on the bottom lip. And very careful on the outline. And slowly going up above the outline. And again, like I said, the Cupid's bow area is thicker skin, and same on the bottom lip. The middle of the bottom lip is thicker skin than the corner, so it takes a bit more time. But like I said, I'm not moving forward till I see nice even saturation. And 50% overlay. And of course bottom lip is easier because it's a nice and straight line. This pass takes the most amount of time, but I like to do it in one pass only, and then I'm switching to round 3 needle and fill the space inside with lighter color, and our lips are done. So I like to do it in one pass only. Towards myself. This 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. See how close? See, it's like it seems like I'm not moving. This is how close I want my strokes to be to each other. And now I'm going sparse. Ombre lips take me about 30 minutes longer than just traditional permanent lip makeup. Then going towards the middle and fill all the gaps. And you can see my top lip now after the anesthetic. It has very nice fade. Going down. And working on my scar. Like I said, on scar tissue we're not using more pressure. We're using actually a bit less pressure. For this technique, only organic pigments or hybrids will work because you need more pigmented pigments. With minerals it will feel too light. you won't be able to see nice gradients. So this is why you need organic or hybrids. Etalon Mix pigment, I use them for probably a year and a half now, and so far it's my favorite. Nice healed result, and never had problems with them. It's hybrids. Nice and stretched the skin. You can see beautifully filled in. Working on the corners, you have to sit behind your client's head. Like I said, the stroke direction of the stroke has to face your chest, in the middle of your chest. You check everything if you missed any spots, and apply anesthetic, and it will bring more color to the surface. And then we can switch to round 3 needle. And I'm checking everything if there's any spots that are lighter. And we're switching to Bare, and from Etalon, from Evenflow, and I use number 6 from Etalon Mix, 50/50. So usually before I used Bare only, but the healed result was I didn't see much color, so I started using number 6. Immediately after, it doesn't have lots of contrast, but once it heals, it's a nice and beautiful, you can see beautiful gradient. You can use just Bare if you use lighter color on outline, but I like with number 6 just to give it a tiny bit more color. And round 3 needle. And like I showed you on latex, I work very fast with round 3 needle. I want those commas, I want this pattern. And I'm staying in one spot and going up and down, over and over. And going up, I wanna blend with my dark color. So it's a nice transition. And again, like I said, if I would use bare only, the color bare only, I would have lighter color, I would have more contrast, but number 6 gives more color, and this is why right now we don't see much contrast between the darker side of the lip, the outline, and the lighter color, but once I apply anesthetic, it will brings true color. It will actually will show more contrast. And if you ask your clients to send the picture of her lips the next day of ombre lips, it does look way prettier the next day because the irritating, the redness, everything goes down, and you can see again true colors, and it looks way prettier. Immediately after, it might look a bit too bright, and again, like I said, you can see too much contrast between dark and light. And my strokes are on the side and horizontal, vertical, different ways with different directions with round 3 needle. See how nice it feels, and it just works so easy with round 3 needle. I love this needle, it makes my work so much faster, it just makes it so much easier. Beautiful. Once I will apply anesthetic at the end, you will see lighter color and darker color. Right now you can see because, again, like I said, it's the skin is because of working on the skin, and it's irritating the skin, and it does look brighter. They always go from bottom and up. I blend with my darker color all the way up. And my model doesn't feel anything, no pain. I applied anesthetic, and going up and all the way up, down. This is the sound you want to hear. When your hand work, the hand moves are super fast, and 5.5 speed on my power supply, it creates commas. You have to find your perfect speed. It depends on your hand speed. This is why you need to practice on latex to find your perfect speed. If for brows you want dots, for lips we want commas. Like I showed you on latex. This is why you have to play with the speed of your power supply and see and just see your hand speed. Once you see your latex has little commas, that's your speed for lips permanent makeup. And I flip my model's lip, bottom lip down, and I go all the way up to her inner lip. All the way up. And of course, it's the skin in this area is always very dry, and you have to stay in one spot longer, and always not even 50-80% overlay. And again, from inner lip, going down and blend the color from light to dark, from dark to light. So we have a nice transition. We don't want harsh lines, bold lines. And with my pinky, I pull her skin down and open the area for me. And moving my body position. Yes, and every corner all the way in. And I'm going on the other side. Again, flip the lip down, make it nice and flat, so I can go all the way to the inner lip. Tiny bit of Vaseline. Vaseline helps a lot. In the summertime, I don't ever have this problem with bleeding, but in the winter time, almost every client has dry lips, which is normal. And again, with my index finger, pulling the lip down, and I'm sitting behind my client's head. Nice. And our lips are done. Nicely saturated color. I want to check everything if we missed anything. The scar covered perfectly. Nice, crisp and clean outline and Cupid's bow. We will apply anesthetic, and anesthetic will bring through colors, and we will see nice contrast between dark and light. Our lips are done, and you can see beautiful gradient. No concealer, clean work